Doubledays and Scrappers getting ready for action tonight, 6:30 here at Falcon Park. Game 2 of a set between the top two teams in the Pinckney division. Drew Carter now glad to be joined by a very special guest. It is Nationals roving coordinator Billy Gardner Jr. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Drew. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for being with us for one. I told you earlier you might have thought you were done with this the interview thing now that you're no longer the manager of the Syracuse Chiefs. You were there for the last 4 years. How'd you make that decision to transition from managing to coordinating?
Well, I think 4 years at AAA. AAA is it can be a challenging level, so it was good for me to try something different. And this obviously is good to get the experience to go around and lend my experience to the players and the coaches throughout the organization. And I think Randy wanted to get back into managing, and I want to get maybe more at home a little bit and have a little bit more impact throughout the organization, just as opposed to just AAA.
Yeah. Now you got a chance to go up with the Nat staff in a couple Septembers, right? What was that experience like?
That was a great experience. Just to have the opportunity to see how it works at the major league level was a real good experience, and I think it helps in terms of your evaluation of players. You kind of get an idea what it takes to play at that level, and you go around, you look at players, you kind of compare them to guys that you see at the major league level, and the speed of the game and all the prep that goes into it.
Right. Now, during your playing career, you actually spent some time in short season with the Royals organization. Now that you're back here in short season for a couple of days, how do you feel like your experience playing at this level helps you kind of groom these guys?
Well, I think these kids this is all new to them, so there's that professionalization they got to go through, and how they conduct themselves as a professional baseball player. That's a big part of it, and how to play the game, and we talk about the Nationals DNA and things of that sort. And I kind of lend my experience more so from a coaching standpoint. I played so long ago; it's a lot different than today than it was when I played. But a lot of the stuff we expect as being part of the Nationals organization, I kind of impress that upon them, and the coach staff here does a really good job with that. So I add some bits and pieces, and they take care of the rest.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that Nationals DNA. If you had to boil it down into maybe a few sentences or like a motto for the Nationals, what would you say the Nationals way is?
Well, I think it's go out and compete, and we're gonna leave everything on the field and empty the tank out there, and make sure we get our work in, and not so much it's not so much quality, but quality work, and get ready to play the game or prepare and play the game the right way. And those are the things that we look for, and those are the things we expect out of the kids.
And then what are some of the differences between when you played in the mid-'80s, right, and then now in 2018?
Oh, no, the game's still the same. It's just 60 feet 6 inches, and the bases are 90 feet apart. And the game's still played, pretty much the same way. There's a lot more, to it now with, the analytics are a big part of it. And, obviously the money and stuff is a lot bigger than it's ever has been. And but it's still the same. It's about going out there and competing every night and playing hard and, playing the game the right way.
Billy Gardner, the Nationals roving coordinator. Now, that title, I want to get into that a little bit because hitting, pitching, fielding coordinators, those are all pretty obvious what those guys do. But for a roving coordinator, what's your job title?
Well, my job is, basically to go around and make sure that we're doing what we need to do, as far as the fundamentals and how we teach and things of that sort. And, I've managed for 20 years, so I have experience in that aspect. And, I can lend that experience to some of the guys that are just starting out. And, I was fortunate enough to be around a lot of good baseball people, that helped me along the way. Now, I'm just looking to do that now.
Who are some of those maybe mentors that you learned from?
Well, Bob Schaefer, who was, a big part of, my career, and the Jim Hoff, who was at Tampa Bay, and there's the Buddy Bailey, who's with Boston at the time and is now with Chicago Cubs. He's actually in Myrtle Beach, but there's been a lot. I know I'm leaving a few guys out, but there's been a lot, and I've learned a lot. And you gotta be able to take constructive criticism, and when you have good baseball people telling you things, and you gotta learn from it, and make the adjustment.
Now, another person who I'm assuming had a pretty big impact in your life, as you might have heard, we said a Billy Gardner Jr. here. Billy Gardner Sr., a longtime big leaguer and also a longtime manager. What'd you learn from your dad?
Well, yeah, he's been a mentor for me too. He goes without saying, with all his experience, and but he just impressed upon me. You got to be yourself. You can't be somewhere you're not. The player's going to see right through that, and have a good work ethic, and it's about getting the players better, and hold them accountable, and all those things that you're going to make in a good coach or a good manager. He impressed upon me at a young age.
Just a couple more things for you here. Now, talking with the players, they love playing for Jared Head, the manager here for the Doubledays. He's in his 3rd season. Being a guy with some experience, what do you like from what you've seen from Jared so far?
Well, Jared's he's a worker. He's demanding. He's got a really good knack of. He can have those tough conversations, but he also can, kind of pat a guy on the butt and lift him up and lift his spirits and make him feel good about himself. He doesn't overdo it. He's not overbearing. He gives him some space, which is important. But he wants them to play the game the right way, and that's what we expect. And get the guys better. At the end of the day, you got to get the players better.
Yeah. And then looking through your managerial history, the 2014 season kind of stands out because the Chiefs won 81-62. You guys win your division in the regular season. It kind of strikes a similarity to me with the Doubledays, a team that's sort of been struggling as of late. The Chiefs, well, that's their only winning season really this decade. Any similarities you see between the 2014 Chiefs and the 2018 Doubledays?
It's hard to say, just a different level, but I know when in 14 we had a really good core of guys that we brought up through the system. I think a lot of times now AAA, you gotta fill in the holes, fill the gaps in, and you got to go out and get people. But that team had, we had people come up through the system. They know what how we wanted to do things. They know what the expectations were, and they were very talented. And they got along well. It was a very good clubhouse. We had leaders in the clubhouse. We had everything we needed, and those guys went out there and did it.
All right, and then last question for you here. As a roving coordinator, you've been at basically every level in the Nats organization. Where does the Doubledays hat rank among the teams?
Oh, it's number one. No doubt. It's at the top of the list. I love it. I got about 4 of them, I think. I actually got about 20, 30 hats, I think, going throughout the organization. But, yeah, they got an outstanding hat.
Right. He says that everywhere he goes, I'm sure. It's Billy Gardner, Jr., the roving coordinator for the Washington Nationals. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Drew.